Welcome to It Ain't Rocket Science. I'm Adam Balkin in Las Vegas at the annual Consumer Electronics Show, where innovators from around the globe come to show off the high-tech creations they're working on. It's a place you might someday be, and we're going to check it all out. But first, coming up in this episode, the 2014 FIRST robotics season kicks off. We take a look at this year's challenge and hear what student engineers have to say about the game. We'll get a behind-the-scenes look at how airports work and take a look at how some alternative careers in aviation seem to be taking off. And in North Carolina, a group of students is using technology to learn more about how to combat disease, while back at CES, there's a push for wearable technology to monitor health and fitness. We'll check it out. All part of Time Warner Cable's Connect a Million Minds initiative to spark interest and a degree of excitement in science, technology, engineering, and math. But before we get to all that, let's take a look at how STEM helped to ring in the new year. It's an event watched by millions of people across the country and around the world. The ball drop in Times Square is an American tradition that dates back to 1907, but you may be surprised by how much science and technology play a part in helping kick off the new year. Aside from the obvious lights and screens at Times Square, the ball itself is a technological marvel that has evolved through the years. Today it's made up of thousands of LED lights and is almost 90% more energy efficient than its incandescent predecessors.
The Times Square ball is very interesting because what it does, it talks about really the art of the possible. As a young person, the opportunity to really study and learn about technology from the math and science perspective, and for lighting, for example, to take it and really change the dynamic of how lighting touches people, how it really makes a difference, how it creates those possibilities. I would encourage everyone, every young person to embrace math and science, because what we do at the ball is done by people like them who have grown up and really made a commitment to math and science.
For grown-up innovators, CES is the place to kick off the new year. For the younger innovators in training, though, the place to be, the FIRST robotics competition. It's official. The 2014 FIRST robotics competition has begun. Dean Kamen and his team at FIRST revealed this year's project in a live stream to over 2,400 teams worldwide. This year's game, Aerial Assist.
If we can steer this generation of kids to develop a passion for science and technology and innovation, they will be the superstars of their generation.
And what do these future superstars think of this year's challenge? Our Sheba Clark was on hand at the Rochester, New York regional kickoff and got students' reactions.
The anticipation is building in this auditorium full of future science and technology professionals.
It's very tense right now.
Now that's one way to describe the feeling more than 700 of these students have as they kick off their FIRST robotics competition.
It's a whole bunch of people who just love science and technology, and they're all geeky and nerdy, and it's fantastic.
They watched a live stream with 2,400 teams worldwide. What the theme of this year's competition will be.
It's great. It's like second Christmas. I love it.
And that unwrapped gift was displayed on this projection screen.
At this year's game, Aerial Assist.
Teams were assigned a 6-week project that pretty much demonstrates a robotic basketball game. And the clock starts now to complete it.
Just about every day for the whole 6 weeks. It's crazy, you know. We just about eat and sleep there building the robot.
And as teams pick up their kits for building
2 sim motors.
The goal isn't just to build a game-winning robot.
The goal is to get the teams to championship in April, but our goal really is to get the kids excited about math, science, and technology. And that's what's happening here today.
For It Ain't Rocket Science, I'm Sheba Clark.
And what's absolutely wild, just about all the parts for those robots and pretty much anything you can think up in your head, you can now make yourself thanks to a tech trend that's getting set to absolutely explode, 3D printing. It's not exactly new. Last year at the FIRST robotics competition, we saw robots built almost entirely from 3D printed parts. But this year at CES, there's an explosion of 3D printing. Toys, tools, artwork, instruments, robots, even expensive jewelry.
Choose from, any of the designs, customize it, change the metal color, the metal purity, the gemstone, add a GIA certified diamond, and then we 3D print that model of that ring to create the jewelry that you've selected.
But it doesn't stop there. One hot new innovation, 3D printed candy.
It can print right now with candy recipes and chocolate, but we're developing new recipes all the time.
Called the Chef Jet Pro, this one will initially be geared towards bakeries when it launches later this year, though a smaller version could end up in your kitchen someday. In fact, 3D printers are one step closer to making it into your home. MakerBot unveiled a new compact model of printer at this year's show. Then for the average consumer, the MakerBot Replicator Mini. But what about those of you who don't want to program or create models to input into the printer? Well, someone has thought of that, making 3D printing as simple as writing your name.
Basically, it's a 3D printer inside a pen, so you are the 3D printer. So all you gotta do is feed the plastic in. It heats up the plastic like any other 3D printer would, and it cools right away, and then you can kind of just doodle.
CES is all about the possibilities the future holds, and 3D printing has clearly shown that the possibilities are endless. And while CES, there are things like this flying all over the place. For some New York City students, what might actually be even more fun than piloting one of these, finding out what it takes to get an actual full-size commercial passenger jet off the ground.
It was a chance to see the guts of the airport. Students from 3 aviation schools went behind the scenes of a terminal at one of the country's busiest airports, John F. Kennedy International.
We get to see a lot of things that the regular folk don't get to see. And it's awesome. It's something that really interests us and keeps us motivated to work hard and strive forward.
It's all part of the launch of the JetBlue Foundation, aimed at getting students geared towards careers in aviation.
We aren't producing enough pilots and technicians and engineers, and we hope to tap all new markets of students and kids out there that might have sparked an interest in science or technology or engineering and math.
3 schools received grants from the foundation to promote their aviation programs: Aviation High School and CUNY York College in Queens, New York, and Central Florida Aerospace Academy in Lakeland, Florida.
We have like tools and materials, but there's always like more we can do, but we don't have the funding for it. So that actually helps us with a lot of our hands-on projects, because we can do the knowledge stuff all day long, but when it comes down to it, hands-on is what really counts.
It's important to us because it's our future. It'll ensure that we'll have a great career, and it'll keep us moving towards the future.
It's good to see that we're getting support to help us keep training kids for what we're meant to do, and that's fix aircraft in the future.
Educators along for the tour say it's important for students to get these types of experiences to better understand the industry.
There's so many parts of the aviation industry, and if we can break it down for students so they can see the back end of the industry and the front end of the industry, and then all the way along, then we can make the jobs more real.
It's basically a learning experience altogether. Being a junior at aviation, I know I haven't learned everything yet. I still have a long way to go, but I think that being here is a step in the right direction.
A learning experience that's putting them all one step closer to taking off in a future career in STEM. Shazia Khan for It Ain't Rocket Science.
But as we're learning here at CES, not all careers in aviation necessarily have to do with actually flying the plane. You've probably been on a flight and turned on your iPad and connected to the Wi-Fi, or flipped through the channels on the in-flight TV, but have you ever thought about who makes that possible? That's exactly what this company does. Develops and tests satellite technology to bring you in-flight communications and entertainment. This is the Row 44 Albatross 1, a World War II era plane that's used to test Global Eagle's in-flight technology.
There is a lot of activity in the satellite arena, and there's a lot of opportunities in these fields.
So how exactly does it work?
These units behind me are part of the system that communicates with the satellite. We have an antenna on top of the airplane, and that points to the satellite. We're receiving and transmitting, so it's two-way communication. Passengers normally attach via a handheld device, an iPad or iPhone or some kind of Android device.
The flight on Albatross 1 is rocky and the plane is loud, but pilot Dave Cummings says That's part of what makes it perfect for testing this type of equipment.
One of the neat things about it was that led to a very accelerated wear and tear on the equipment, an unexpected result which actually sped along the development of the equipment because it broke stuff. It broke stuff fast and right away. And so it helped actually to put it through more or less what you would say off-road testing like that in an aircraft.
Dave and Simon say if you want to work in the industry, college is key.
The main thing is for kids that might be interested in something along those lines would be to really get good grades because they look a lot at the math and sciences.
Development in these kind of areas normally requires some kind of degree in computer science, electronic engineering, RF engineering. So those things are things that are really going to be big things in the future.
Big things that could land you in an interesting STEM career. Okay, we have to stop here for a quick break, but coming up, tech and health. We'll take a look at how the two are converging at CES, and one group of students in North Carolina is coming up with the right prescription to help fight the flu. And later, it's Ladies First taking a shot at coding. Two organizations that are aiming to close the gender gap and get more girls programming. To find more hands-on science, technology, engineering, and math opportunities in your community, visit connectamillionminds.com during the break.